Hey there, welcome back to another Bandits body class, and we are looking at some mat work but also some standing today and taking some of our exercises again from some Pilates repertoire. We're going to start off on our back looking at some bridging. So I've got my leg straps on today. I'm working with green. I've also got my green upper limb attached onto my front clips on the legs. So we're just going to start off coming into a lying position and just focusing on working into our breath and our deep tummy recruitment. So I'm going to get you to inhale through the nose, picture a huge balloon filling in your tummy. And then as you exhale, exhale fully. And just note how at the end of your exhale, you feel this connection really deep within the pelvis area. Inhale again, full exhale, connecting in at the end. And maybe if you want to add a visualization of the two front bones of the pelvis just connecting in with each other, you can. Just make sure you keep the back of the pelvis nice and wide and relaxed. Then we're going to come through just a little 3D pelvic warm-up. So just rock and roll in the pelvic area here, just letting the bones tilt nice and fluidly back and forwards. And then coming to center, allowing the pelvis to swivel like this. So it's going to travel from side to side now, creating length on one side and then length on the other. So traveling the pelvis away from you and towards your feet. We're then going to look at rotation of the pelvis. So just rotating like this. So we're presenting one side of the pelvis up towards the ceiling and then the other. Now we're going to articulate through the spine first of all, so feet coming closer in, and this is moving through all of our all of our spine joints even. So just curling all the way up. And again in this position, relax the ribs and then tilt all the way down. Thorax first, then low back, then pelvis. And repeat, tilting under, coming up, lengthening the knees away, and coming back down. And then we're going to look at mobilizing the pelvis into a twist again, but in our bridge position. So coming on up, hold here, then relax the effort here on this butt cheek, and you'll see the pelvis drop. So we've got one high, one low. Then activate again, and then relax on the other side. So we have alternate glute activation, and we have a nice rotation happening through the pelvis. We have one hip open, one closed, one hip dropping, one lifting, and then coming down. Okay, so we are going to start now with what's called abduction or external rotation of the hips. So we're going to curl up, find our bridge again, and then rotate the hips in their socket and come back to center. So pelvis is going to remain level here. Feet might roll out onto those outer borders, and that's fine. But take your intention and focus into the actual hips, and you want to feel them circle in their sockets. So we have our glutes working, and then we have our deep hip muscles working, and then you're also going to have some work on the outside of the hip as well. Good, and then coming down. Now we're going to repeat this with some overhead work. So we're going to come up, overhead press, rotate out, coming in, out, in, 3, 4. So we're pushing overhead as the knees come out to the side, driven by the motion of the hips. Good. Coming back down. Third and final set, just crossing the bands over. Up we come again, and once more. We're going to get a little bit more work through the back of the shoulders here. Rotating, big wide spread eagle position, coming back in again. Energizing the back of the body. Last one. Coming down. Good. So we're going to come into single leg work. We're going to work through modified version and then into the full version. So I'm just going to curl up again, bridge position. Take a moment to relax the ribs. And you can also drop the hips just a little bit so you're not forcing the hips high. We're going to transfer our body weight to the right foot and press down already with the left shoulder and arm. We're going to fold the knee. Come back down, swap onto the other side. Left foot, right shoulder, fold. Come down, swapping over. The pressure is in the right foot to the left shoulder and arm. And then folding deeply into this hip crease. So get a real sense of the hips slotting in and folding. Working against the band. Last one. And then we're going to come down. We're going to repeat this and have what's called a leg repeater. So we're going to do 8 repetitions on one side and then onto the other. So hands on the floor again, coming up. Press down through the right foot, left hand and shoulder, so we're nice and solid, and off we go. 1, tap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 2 more, take it to 10. Good. Swapping straight over. Pelvis wants to remain nice and level. So I've now got left foot to right shoulder, ribs relaxed, head and face relaxed as well. Good. Coming down. Now, you might want to take this now to the more advanced version, which is a high kick. You can leave these on, or you can just unclip them if you feel they might get in your way. We're going to come up again, elongate the leg away. Big kick now. 1, away. 2, 3, 4, we'll do 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Swapping over. Transfer the weight. Find your stability first. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pelvis stable, 6, 7, 8. Pause, and then lower. Beautiful. So we've now worked the back of the body, and we'll then change position. So we're going to pop ourselves onto hands and knees here. So again, if you need something under your wrist, you can just roll your mat. Rest the heel of the hand there. As long as we've got nice big wide fingers that can connect up into our shoulders. Got the band is now back on my leg straps again. And we're going to come find our 4-point position. So big wide hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked. Then we want our knees under the hips. And then we need to sort out our spinal curves. So we can have a little tuck and tilt again of the pelvis. Finding middle. The middle position, I should be able to rest a coffee on there. And then the same with my ribs. Tucking, tilting. And then I'm going to find a position where the ribs are connected up. Have a strong push through the arms. We're going to start with an arm lift. So pressing the right hand into the floor, just float the left arm. And then bring it in. Press through the left, float the right. Again, little watch point here, thumb facing towards the ceiling. That will help us open into the shoulder joint. Keep connecting back in again with your ribs. Good. Then we're going to come into our legs. So, slide the leg away on the floor and then work against the band, lifting. Come back in. Slide the foot. Lift. Touch. Come back in. You'll feel the weight change through your supporting arms. So as I slide my left leg, I have more weight in my left arm. We just want to watch as well that we have that straight line, not sinking into the back. This leg doesn't need to come high. In fact, you'll probably do a little better just keeping it a smidge lower. Then we're going to come arm and leg together. Slide away and hold. Come back in. Slide and hold. Come back in. Moving together. Find the stability. Coming back in. Good. Now, keeping the spine stable or long, we're going to have lift, bring the elbow or hand in towards the knee, open and close. Lift, touch. So this is a stability version where we're moving the hand and foot independently of the spine. Good. Okay. Now we're going to come into more dynamic version. So we're going to be tucking the spine and lengthening. We're going to bring the upper limb one in. So I'm holding this in my right. So I'm going to be lifting my left leg. So we start, lengthen, come in and tuck. Lengthen, come in and tuck. So more movement now through my spine. Pushing. Good, really connect in with your tummy. And then swapping. So band is in my left hand. I am weight bearing in my right. And the right leg moves. Elongate. Come back in. Tucking. Lengthen. Tuck. Lengthen. Tuck. Inhale. Full exhale. Keep driving the arm away from you. Beautiful. Well done. Okay, we're going to have a look at an exercise called prone leg kick. So we're going to work with a full plank leg lift, and then we're going to come into a more dynamic motion. We're not going to be using the bands, the upper limb ones, so if you want to just unclip them and leave them to the side, you can. So, hands and knees. Take one leg back and really ground a wide foot into the floor. Push the floor away with your hands, and then your second leg comes back. Now at the moment, my feet and hands are behind each other, so my feet aren't touching. Just holding this plank position here. So we're pushing the floor away, hips are lifted a little higher, and working through the front of the body. And then we're going to come in and rest. Then we're going to take it with a single leg lift. So we have lift, 2, 3, place down, repeat on the other side. So one leg back, take the connection and the other. So lifting my right leg first, up, tap, 2, 3, center, up, 2, 3, center. Let's go again, up, tap, 2, pelvis staying still, center, up, 2, 3, and then coming into rest. Now we can add a little bit of hip flexor work in here as well. So we're going to bend the knee in and then take it back 3 times. Because we've got the bands on, that's going to work the front of the hips too. So let's come back into plank. We're going to lift it, bring it forwards. 2, 3, last one, place it down. Forwards. 2, 3, place it down. Let's go again. Flex, extend, 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 down, extend. Good. Keep pressing your finger pads into the floor. Fantastic. Well done. The final variation, we're going to come back with what's termed a horizontal squat. We're just traveling the weight backwards, and we're going to come forwards and add that leg lift in again. So we will look like this. Plank, and again my feet are wider. I'm going to push through my hands and sit back knees are still off the floor, come forwards. So we'll just do a few repetitions of this first. The hands leading this motion by pushing the hips backwards. Wide sitting bones. And then coming in again. So this time, each time we come forwards, we're going to lift the leg, and we'll do alternate legs this time. So we have plank, sit back, forwards right, sit back, left, right, sit, leg lift, leg lift, leg lift, two more, leg lift, and leg lift. Fantastic. Let's have a little bit of a disco release into our wrists. Always the best part, really, isn't it? Okay, and then we're going to come up and into standing. Okay, so up in standing, I'm going to pop the band onto my ankle strap. You can do this exercise with it on the leg strap. It just means your motion might be a little higher and the band will feel a little easier. So we're going to have a squat and a lateral raise. Now we want to have our lateral raise. You can actually sort of slide the handles around a bit. So we're coming up with our thumbs uppermost. We don't want to be lifting like this and rolling the shoulder head forwards. So I'm going to have a squat, raise, squat, raise. Good. So remember with your squat, nice long spine. And then I'm going to travel this. So we're going to have, come over here, narrow squat, raise, wide, raise, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, coming back, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, narrow, wide. Good. Okay, we're going to move on to a scooter exercise now. This is an exercise commonly done on the reformer. You can keep your band on your ankle. I'm going to bring mine onto my rear leg clip here for scooter. So, we are going to have a hinge motion. Long spine here. So pretending we're on our scooter, or if you're used to reformer, pretending you're holding the foot bar. We're going to transfer our weight, slide the foot back, drive the arm forwards, come in, drive away, come up. So we have leg, arm, knee, arm, up, leg, arm, come in, drive, come up, leg, 2, 3, 4, come up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, come up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, come up 5. I'll do the other one facing so you can just see what happens to the pelvis. So we have leg back, pelvis stable, push, it comes in, still stable, push away, come back up. Scooter, arm, in, away, come up. Scooter, arm, balance, away, come up. Leg, arm, balance, away, come up. Leg, arm, balance, away, come up. Boom, ch, ch, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good job. Well done. We are going to look now at a Sawdraw exercise. We are going to be taking I'm actually just going to pop this to my front clip. You can leave it on your rear one. We're going to take a nice wide lunging motion. So working against the band here in the pelvis. This foot faces forwards, this one on a diagonal, and bring the weight onto it, pelvis level. So just come in and out here, get a feeling of what this is like. Then we're going to take the band, this is your fencing sword position, lunge, reach, elongate away. So we're thinking of on guard. Elbow, rotate, push, come back in. Elbow, rotate, push, and back in. Good. Now, if you want to, you can make this into a dynamic step. You might want to just hold this one out of the way in case you step on it. So I'm just going to have that here on my hip. Step, come back in. Step, come back in. Sawdraw, Sawdraw. There we go. Perfect. Let's come on the other side. So I've got my band clipped onto the front one. I'm just going to keep that out of the way, holding it here near my waist. Step, diagonal foot, parallel foot. We're going to come into our lunge, make sure we're happy with where that is. Pelvis faces forwards. Then we have that motion coming back. Elbow, rotate, push. This will be no different, guys, if you have your band in your ankle strap. All the cueing is the same. Remember to allow your front foot to completely relax and lengthen. So we don't want to be gripping on with the toes. Good. And if you want to, join me for some dynamic ones. Step, come back in. 2, 3, 4, we're going to do 8, 5, 6, really push into the band, 7, last one, 8. Great job. The next exercise we have, I've popped this in my ankle straps again. And if I hold the handles, I'll have too much band. So I'm actually going to hold the handle and grab onto a little bit of band as well. This is your ploughing motion. So we're going to take a hinge in the body. Hips come back, weight remains centered through the feet, and I have a long spine. This position, not this one, or not down here. So it's a long spine hinge. I'm then going to take straight arms back. Release. 2. Collarbones really wide. Sweeping the arms back and behind in this ploughing motion. Ribs connecting in. Exhale as I pull. Then I'm going to pause here. Relax forwards. And then stack back up again. Then hinge and pivot. 1, 2, 3. If I did loosen my band, I'd be coming a little further, but it's a bit, I prefer this connection a little lower. Here, squeezing shoulder blades together, relaxing, slowly coming back up again. Final set. Hinge, long spine, draw back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll down. And then coming up. Our final exercise today is one that requires a lot of balance, so I'll show you some different options. I am going to pop this back in my leg strap again. And we're going to be looking at a pendulum motion. So I'm going to start off holding them, hands on the pelvis. I'm going to draw a line behind with the toe and then pivot in that front hip. Now you might come to here and that's absolutely fine. If you want more of a challenge, we're aiming for this position. So we've got a long flat line and then coming up again. So push against the band. Just watch that your supporting knee is centered and not snapped back. Pivoting into that front hip, pelvis nice and stable, coming up. Now we're going to add in a push. So we're going to have pendula, push, come in and back up. Pendula, good. Now I'm going to get you to really press the pads of these toes down in the supporting foot. Pendula, push, release, come back up. Pendula, push, release, come back up. Obviously, we can push with the other band. So you can have that one resting here. If you want it out the way and at the back, you can as well. So we have pendula, push, come in. That's going to give you a slightly different stability feel to it. For those of you that want an even more of a challenge, we're actually going to come forwards and then we're going to open out with our push, come back in and up. So you can push if you want to, come in, rotate, push up, and then back up again. So there's a little variation for you. Let's pop over and onto the other side. So starting just with a pendulum. So weight nice and wide on that supporting foot, toe pads pressing. So we come into the line, coming back again. So remember, you can keep this lower like I'm doing here. And that is definitely enough of a challenge. So I'll stay demoing a bit lower on this side as we come into a push. So I definitely want my deep tummy stabilizers working. I want to be pressing down with the pads of my toes. Good. And then if I want to, swapping over, coming into there, open rotate, coming back up. Here, open rotate. And again, we need to keep the weight right over that foot so that you don't rotate and fall inwards. Final one, whichever version. Coming up. Well done, guys. I think we'll just have a nice relaxed forward fold to finish off. So relaxing your band. We'll just curl down here, soft knees, and hold on to either elbow. And just hang into this fold. Take your breath towards the back of the rib cage. Allow the weight of the head to traction your neck. And a little bounce. And then slowly curling up. Good job. Well done. Another bandit's body class done. I'll see you soon on the mat.